afraid everything will change. You and I jumping off the edge. They say dreamers never die. So come and fly, come and fly, come and fly away with me. We're rising, we're falling, we're making moves. We're climbing, we're soaring, 1,000 views. We're rising, we're falling, we're making moves. We're climbing, we're soaring, 1,000 views. Come and fly away, come and fly away, come and fly away with me.
Good morning, Dana Kay. How are you? Looks like there's only 3 people in here right now. So I guess we're going to have to wait. Did your wrench show up, Dana? Can you hear me okay? Oh, there we go. Wow, there's names that I see. Okay, great. I'm glad you got your wrench, Dana Kay. Hello, Miss Marianne. Burlington Park. Guys, I just want to let y'all know I'm feeling 100% better than I was last week or so. I may not sound much better, but I feel a whole lot better. Good morning to everybody. Of course, we're going to chit-chat around for just a minute until we get a little bit more people in here. I have questions, guys. I'm really upset over the Michael Vaughan thing. First of all, I'm upset simply because Michael Vaughan isn't getting the coverage that Summer Wells is getting. And we all know Summer is our forever child. I mean, she's always going to be our forever child. And I would love to get that hashtag out there. You know, Summer is our forever child. But little Mikey is just as important. And the only reason he's not getting any coverage, and everybody's trying to say, oh, it's because Brandy and Tyler aren't out here getting drunk and doing this and doing that, and there's no drama, da-da-da-da. It's not because, hi, remain calm. It's not because Brandy and Tyler isn't causing chaos. It's because the YouTubers aren't bringing the chaos to your attention. Because trust me, I have some questions. Marianne says, I don't know much about the case, but I did see an interview with the parents and people seem to think the father is showing signs of deceit. Well, let me ask a question. Christola had told me the other day, hello, Nene. She didn't understand why everybody was going off about Tyler waking the baby up to change her diaper. It was 4:30 in the afternoon. Why wouldn't you wake the baby up? Because you would want her to be able to sleep that night, right? So it makes sense to wake the child up. Well, but the thing was, he was waking her up to change her diaper, not wake her up so she could sleep later that night. The only problem is he didn't wake her up at 4:30, guys. He put her down for a nap at 4:30. She got woke up probably around 6:30, 6:35. And because I know this because Tyler says he ordered the pizza at 6:40 exactly. And he woke the baby up before he ordered the pizza. And he went outside and smoked a cigarette and realized Mikey wasn't outside like he expected to see Mikey outside. Come on. Thought the kid slipped out the side door. But I got another big question for you. If Mikey had time to run down through the neighborhood, and we're assuming he was walking, not running, so we know how fast a 5-year-old walks. and he has time to go and knock on 3 different neighbors' doors and ask if they could play or whatever it was he was wanting from these neighbors. Don't y'all think that that would take more than 15 minutes, or at least take 15 minutes? You're telling me in 15 minutes time, his dad didn't realize that he was missing, come outside and look down the street and see his son walking down the street. Okay, well, he started yelling for him when he realized he wasn't there. The kid was still walking down the street knocking on doors. Oh, but wait, he didn't. When he realized Mikey was gone, what did he do? He pulled a Candace. He jumps in the car and drives to the splash pad. Sound familiar? Isn't that odd? You don't run around your outside of your house, check in the backyard, check under the beds, do everything you got to do. You immediately jump in the car and drive down the road to look for a 5-year-old. My question is why a neighbor didn't walk in. That was my first question too. Why, if he talked to all those neighbors, why didn't they immediately take this boy's hand and walk him back to his parents and say, hey guys, your kid's out here wandering around knocking on my door. You might want to watch him. I'm sorry guys, I'm agitated this morning. I've been rewatching old videos of this. And also, I would like to point out, everybody seems to think this is more of a bitch fest, guys, and y'all are more than welcome to bitch back at me. That's fine. I don't have a problem with it, okay? And if I get out of hand, please tell me, because I don't want to sound like a raving lunatic. But nobody has spoke of this. And everybody I've talked to seems to think that the 15-year-old sister was at some kind of band practice or whatever, right? That's where she was at. No, that's not where she was at. She got back home at 3 or 3:30 from band practice. She left in a vehicle moments before Mikey disappeared. Nobody speaks of that. Nobody says anything about the fact that a 5-year-old has a bad habit of sneaking in cars. Could this be what happened to this child? Could he have snuck in the back of that car before his sister left? And then when her and whoever it was got out of the car where they were going, he could have got out. No, Marianne, this is in Idaho. Fruitland, Idaho. Mikey is a 5-year-old little boy who disappeared. Well, he's 6 now. Who disappeared on July the 27th, 2021. It was a few days over a month after Summer disappeared. They look pretty close alike. I mean, you can tell some facial differences, but basically both have blonde, short, cut, cropped hair. Both have blue eyes. They're about the same height, same weight, everything. And what's even stranger, I've heard, is the fact they both got gone on Tuesday nights around 6:30. Isn't that weird? That's odd. Idaho? Isn't it Fruitland, Idaho? What did I say? I may have said the wrong one. I'm getting upset. We won't let you turn into Karen, Nana. Thank you, Dana Kay. I appreciate that. Oh, remain calm. You'll see Dana Kay's got her wrench. If I remember right, I'm like you, have followed this case scarcely. And, well, me too. I mean, I've done a few videos on it. I've tried to keep up a little here and there about it, but not a whole lot. Both in picture have bruising around her mouth. The mom? Anyways, guys, I literally said, because I knew I wasn't incorrect about the sister and when she left. Everybody kept trying to tell me I was wrong, that she was gone to band practice or something. No, she left literally minutes before he got gone. Her mother said, I wrote it down exactly what she wrote. Okay, it says, I wrote down, Kara did leave. A friend picked her up. Okay, her mom said exactly. Because CM asked her, what time did she leave? And she said, during the ordering of dinner type time. Now, he ordered the dinner at 6:40. Summer and Michael had bruising around their mouths. So, I mean, this stuff, guys. Okay, Kara got home about 3:30. That's the sister. She came home from band practice. Oh, another, like I said before, I was told someone believed that they laid the baby down, or they woke the baby up at 4:30. But no, the mom says that Tyler, okay, says she called her on her lunch break a little after 4 o'clock. Tyler had just laid the baby down for a nap. Monkey was in the living room playing on the Switch. And at 7, Tyler at 7 o'clock is when Tyler called her. Actually, 7:05 is when Tyler called her and told her that Monkey was missing. And then he called the police. That also sounds familiar. Yes, a pizza was ordered and someone had put the pizza on their counter. Y'all notice there's a lot of pizza turning up in all this. Do y'all know what David Dotson was doing when Summer went missing? I found that out this morning too. David Dotson was eating pizza when Summer went missing. A lot of pizza going around, guys. Hi, everyone. Sneaking in to listen while I work. Hope everyone is doing well from Portugal. Well, hello, darling. And Mel, I'm not sure I could pronounce your name without messing it up, so we're going to call you Mel. Welcome, sweetheart. I have been asking everybody on YouTube and Twitter if they noticed that B's face looks very swollen on the right side. I've not looked, took that close a look, so I'm not sure. I'm definitely going to start looking into this case a whole lot more because, unfortunately, and trust me, guys, I was one of the first defenders of this family, saying that Brandy was heartbroken and just wants her child back. And I'm not saying that's not true. I do not know whether these parents had anything to do with their child missing or not. What I am wanting to point out is all these little discrepancies, like if he was only distracted for 15 minutes, how far can a child get down the road in 15 minutes? And we have neighbors stating that he was walking down the road, knocking on their doors. So how far could he have gotten without Dad seeing him? I know it sounds like I'm fussing about nothing, but pizza is code name. I know all about that, sweetheart. Yes. And then the fact that, Marianne, you do not hate pizza. I love pizza. Heartbreaking. All these children are missing. It's like an epidemic. It is like an epidemic, or technically more like the end of the world. See, it's been said that Brandy has studied the Summer Wells case and others very closely. Well, let me tell you something, guys. Tyler on here makes a statement that I thought he picked straight out of Don Wells's book, which was, he said, he isn't here. He has to be far away. They've already proved he's not here, so he has to be far away from here. Who else said that? Who else jumps straight in their car as soon as they find out their 5-year-old is missing and goes down the street to look for them? I'm sorry, but these things are odd to me. And yeah, I know I'm bright and early this morning doing a live. And that was 2 reasons. One, because I was so angry and I needed somebody to talk to and get this out. And 2, because I figured that there might be people that don't normally catch me live because I usually go live of the evening. So I thought I would come on here and see if we couldn't brighten some other people's days with my fury. Sorry, guys. I'm just so agitated because, for one, Michael's not getting the attention he needs. And 2, there are so many weird coincidences. Like the fact that when the reporter asked Tyler and Brandy if there were any suspects, and Tyler actually went to answer, and Brandy jumps in and over top of him and says, that's something that we can't talk about. So I believe if somebody else did this, if there was somebody actually kidnapped him or done something to him, they know who the suspects are and do not want to admit who they are. Oh, your husband is a sweetheart if he brought you more coffee. Exactly. Don did say from day one that Summer would never be found. Far away sounds very familiar. Hello, Miss Tina. Good to see you here. I'm just in here fussing and moaning and groaning and complaining. Oh, by the way, another little piece of information. How many people in here know or realized, should I say, that Monkey technically is not his nickname? Michael Vaughan's nickname was MJ. Does anybody else know that? I just realized that. Another little piece of coincidence, guys. Did anybody else realize that 3 days in, that J.D. Huff also turned down any public help to search for this child? And said, if we need your help later on, we'll let you know. Keep in touch. Am I wrong? Did Tyler say he woke the child to change her diaper? No, you're right. That's what he said. Who was calling it? I'm assuming his mom called him Monkey. I don't know. But when J.D. Huff got up there to speak, he flat out said his nickname, he goes by the nickname of MJ. And neither one of his parents, which both were standing there, and his aunt, nobody contradicted that whatsoever. Nobody said, oh, because J.D. Huff was saying he would answer to the nickname MJ. And nobody contradicted what he said. Let me see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to specifically point out. Oh, and when the reporters asked them if they themselves were suspects, is the law looking at them as suspects? Brandy beats all the way around the bush and never answers that question. Did anybody catch on to that? What she did wind up saying was that they were working with the police in every possible way they could. If you're not a suspect in your own child's disappearance, wouldn't you flat out say, I am not a suspect, and yes, they have ruled me out? Excuse my coughing, guys. Lingering of being sick last week. I know, honey, I know, lemon water. Right this second, I'm drinking coffee, though. Although I don't have a loving husband to bring it to me. I had to walk over to the gas station and grab me a cup this morning. There was a phone call released where the mother was cussing badly at the baby. Okay, and I did a video about that, guys. And I was on the phone with a friend the other day, and I was talking to my dog, trying to get her to come to me so I could put her leash on. And I mean, you guys, I will defend this one statement, okay? I will, till my dying day. Brandy, think about the stress she's under, whether they're responsible, whether they're not, and their child just went missing and she's scared to death. And the plain and simple fact is her nerves are at the wit's end, okay? Completely. We can all agree with that. Now, I'm calling my dog to me, and she refuses to come to me so I can put her harness on. We go through this every time she wants to go out. She wants to go out, but she don't want to put the harness on. And I'm trying to get her to come to me. And I'm like, get your ass over here, damn it. I'm not yelling. I said it just the way I just said it. And the friend that was on the phone is saying, all right, Brandy, calm down. The point is, how many times in your child's life, if you have children, have you looked at them and been agitated and said, I'm going to strangle the life out of you? I've said it countless times, countless guys. I have yelled at my kids. I have told them, get your ass over here. I'm going to beat the living daylights out of you. I mean, I'm not a perfect mother. I'm not a perfect person. I am a Christian. And no, Christians don't act like that, or I guess they're supposed to. But the plain and simple fact is my kids know beyond a shadow of a doubt, and they're getting close to 40 now. My kids know beyond a shadow of a doubt. They come first in my life, well, second after my grandkids. I will stand by them, stand behind them, stand for them till my dying breath. Not once have I ever mistreated my children. I have whipped their ass, but I've never mistreated them. And for Brandy to be upset on the phone trying to discuss something important with someone, and a child is standing there stomping their feet and screaming and mommy, 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 I would have said what she said too, or something similar to it. I know y'all don't want to hear that, but give the woman a break. She's going through a dang lot right now. I'd bend down and say, I'm going to break your arm. Just because we say something, guys, it's a whole lot. It's better to yell or growl in anger, like, get over here, than it is to actually put your hands on your child. I would much rather a mother yell at a child and say, I'm going to strangle the life out of you. I would much rather her do that than to actually touch that child in anger and hurt that child. I mean, when you get mad at your spouse and you are having a full-blown argument, what do? You yell at them, right? You don't walk over and hit them. And you also don't say, okay, honey, and walk over and sit down. You don't give them everything they want. Anyways, so can I ask a question? Who in here thinks that Tyler and Brandy could be suspects in this case? I know there's a lot of people who defend Brandy because there's a certain creator who has done nothing but attack them since the get-go. I'm going to shake you. That's my line with my boy. Yep. Candace at the Walmart incident, how many people have thought that just not say it out loud, right? And then we laugh hysterically because chances are he's doing something really stupid. She says everything out loud, right? Hey, your son's 19 though, yeah. My kids knew I'd never hurt them. They told me that when I got older. Exactly. That's what my kids, I mean, well, not my kids, my grandkids have told me that. Nana, we ain't scared of you. We know you're not gonna do nothing. I mean, they didn't say it at the time. They were we're talking my kids, my oldest one's 8, my grandkids are 8, like my oldest one's 18 now. The youngest one will soon be 14. So they knew as little. When kids start getting taller than me, guys, I stop threatening to beat their butts. Come on. Can you see me out there beating somebody's butt and them standing a foot taller than me? I'm so short. Not as short as Remain Calm, but I'm short. You have the look. Yes, I think we all pretty much have the look. You don't need to open your mouth. Come on, Marianne, you're not that damn scary looking, honey. I've got pictures of you. You look like this little Barbie doll. Guys, she's so cute. She wears little braids on each side of her hair. Marianne is such a cute little, she's just adorable. She's not scary looking at all. I can't believe her son's scared of her at all. Kids will test your boundaries. Yes, they will. Oh, and by the way, guys, if they had a fenced in backyard for them kids to play in, right? So they're saying that Monkey went out the back door into the fenced in yard, then into the garage, and then out the side door of the garage, and then left. Okay, he done all this. He went out the back door into the backyard, didn't stop to play with nothing or do nothing. I mean, like this kid supposedly was on a mission to get out of there. Went through the backyard, through the garage, out the side door, and down the dang street. Goes and knocks on 3 different neighbors' doors. Now that's a straight street, guys, because over there that's flat land. It ain't like Tennessee. You look out here and you might see another house. I don't know. Sometimes you don't. But that's flat land. You can see for miles and miles and miles. This kid had time enough to do all that and walk down that, what is it, a block, city block? He's knocking on 3 different doors. Even if that all that took 15 minutes, well, it couldn't have, because his dad said that after he smoked the cigarette was 15 minutes. So his dad was outside within the 15 minutes. Why did he not see this child walking down the street? I mean, wouldn't you? I had the finger warning. 1, 2, 3. If I got the 3, they knew to run, right? Oh, guys, y'all should have heard some of the crap that my brothers used to tell on my mom. I'm 45 years old who wears kids' clothing and girl size shoes, size 4. Exactly, Marianne. So you're not very scary. I love you to death. You're not scary at all. Oh, Dana, shaking her head. My son at a year older was understanding things being said and spelled. Right. I mean, I just, sorry I'm not catching all the comments, guys. Like I said, I'm just ranting this morning because I'm so furious about this, because I didn't realize all this crap had happened, or it didn't kick in until the last couple of days. But how can you walk outside to smoke a cigarette? And he's like, oh, well, I thought Mikey was out here. I didn't see him anywhere, so I assumed he was inside with his brother. Well, I thought he was supposed to be inside playing the Switch. Maybe he was on his phone distracted. Well, you'd have thought he'd have said that during the press conferences or the questioning of when the police questioned him. You would never say those things to your children. Well, honey, I kudos to you. You are a better woman than me. Obviously. But let me tell you something. I did the best I could, and I raised 4 of the most amazing children out there. I love my kids, and I'm very proud of my kids, and they have raised some wonderful kids. And not everybody has to have the same parenting style to have wonderful kids. But trust me, just because you yell at your child or say, I'm going to strangle the life out of you, does not make you a bad parent. Exactly, Dana Kay. All parents raise their kids differently. What works for you may not work for me. You may have the God-given talent of patience. God didn't give me any of those. Trust me, he did not give me patience at all. And I'll almost guarantee you've had your kids several years apart. You have to remember, my children were 4, 3, 2, and 1. I had 4 kids within 5 years. Well, I say 5 years only because it took the 9 months for the first one to be born. There's technically 4 years and 1 month difference between my oldest and my youngest. So you try hanging on to those and keep your patience, and you definitely a better woman than me. I know, but saying you're going to strangle them seems like a little much. Maybe you're going to get a spanking. Well, I mean, yeah, it's just depending on how agitated or what your nerves are like. You say, if your kid says a bad word, you say you're going to pop them in the mouth. If your child won't shut up, how do you shut somebody up? You strangle them. It's just a saying. It's like saying people are crazy or nuts. You don't mean that they're literally certifiable. You're just meaning that they're saying something that sounds ridiculous. You're crazy. You're nuts. It's just the different way that people talk in different areas of the United States. I don't know about the world, but the United States. My daughter and son are 3 years apart. They're grown now, but when they were little, they got into a fight. I had to break it up. That's all I did. And my son told my mom I beat him up. See, there you go. Being real here for a second. These kids at a young age are listening to music, peers, and the environment around them before a parent. Fact, we tend to raise our kids the way we were raised. I remember my mom jacking my ass down the street. I was 2 blocks away from home when the street lights came on. Hey, let me tell you something. My mom raised 5 boys, and when they were younger, they were some wild kids. Now I wasn't born yet. They lived on a mountain in the woods. And one day, now I don't know whether this is true or not. This is alleged. Okay. These are the stories that my brothers have told. But it's said that one morning they decided they weren't going to go to school. They didn't want to go to school. And my mom said, you're going to school. And they said, no, we're not. And they all climbed up in this big oak tree out in the front yard. They knew my mom couldn't climb a tree. So she wasn't about to be able to get them down. I don't know who all in here knows what a pumpkin ball is. It goes into a shotgun. A pumpkin ball is a bunch of little teeny tiny pellets, like pepper balls, and I don't know what all goes in it, but it's not anything that can harm you. It'll sting. It will sting. It will hurt that kind of way, but it wouldn't physically hurt you. My mom went inside and got the gun, put a pumpkin ball in it, and shot straight up in the tree. Needless to say, my brothers went to school. My brothers went to school that day. Sylvia, nowadays say you're going to get a spanking means you have CFS called on you. Exactly. Nowadays you can't do crap, diddly squat to your kid. Or you have 500 people say that you're a rotten parent and calling in on you. It's not just what she said to the toddler, it's how she said it. It sounded horrible to me. Well, Nene, I'm sure it did. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that it did sound like this is the most horrible mother in the world. I'm just saying, from a realistic point of view, real life, me and the way I raised my kids, and most of the people I have been around most of my life, that's just how we talk. We don't literally mean we're going to strangle our child. And I mean, I don't even come from Idaho. I come from East Tennessee. Oh, yeah, honey. Let me tell you something. My daughter's dad, when he had her, she was 10 years old. She climbed up in a 5-foot tree in their front yard and didn't want to go to school. He called the law on her to get the cops to get her down out of the tree. Dude was 5 foot tall at least, and he couldn't get my daughter down out of a tree. Shh. I went out there and jerked her butt down and busted her butt and put her on the dang school bus. I wouldn't have called the law. Nana, hey, won't you be on for a few days and we'll keep you posted, but Def will watch and pop on when I can. Thanks everyone for prayers, and thank you, Dana K. Oh, are you leaving today, hon, to go to your daughter's? And you know that's fine. Your spot here is always here, and you've got my number if you need to call me, okay? If we got into a fight growing up, they'd tell us to kill each other. Exactly, Dana K. Of course, we didn't fight that much in our house because my mama would have beat our butts. By the time me and my sister come along, she'd already raised them 5 boys. No, she didn't put up with no crap. You live in a glass house? Well, Marianne, you better be careful. We'll be praying for your baby remain calm. Absolutely, honey, we will. Please have a safe trip. Remain calm. Everybody, remain calm's daughter. I don't know who's in here that doesn't know, but just in case you don't, her daughter, they found a brain mass, or mass on her brain, and she's got to go 5 states away, I believe it is, to where her daughter lives, and try to help take care of her daughter and her grandkids while they do testing and surgeries and all kinds of stuff. Okay, so I'm in New Jersey. The HS I went to, high school I went to, had a kid bring a loaded gun to school 2 weeks ago. Ready for this? No punishment, nothing, no charges. Oh my goodness, no. Wow. Yeah, well, my mom wasn't a tiny woman. My mom stood 5'10". My mom was and she was Cherokee Indian. I mean, I don't live in a glass house, therefore I won't judge others. Oh, okay. Well, I thought you were meaning you did live in a glass house and you were going to keep your mouth shut so you didn't have to bust your own windows out. My mistake there, Marianne. I love you, hun. That came out wrong, Nona. Okay. Don't throw any stones then, Marianne. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was meaning is she lives in a glass house, so don't throw stones. I will text you the fucking link. I'm so mad. I bet you are, honey. And I bet you're praising the good Lord above that your child is completely out of high school now, right? Please excuse my vulgarity, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if there's any gentlemen in here today. We don't have too many in here. We only have 22. But it's because of the time of day, I'm sure. I have a friend from church whose daughter just went through the same thing. Her daughter's tumor was benign. Thank you, Jesus. Absolutely. Amen. Nene, what? Hello, Stay Tiger. How are you today, hon? My words are nuts. Love you. Oh, Jesus, Lord. Guys, I'm just so agitated. Does anybody know any more about this? Nobody knows any more about this, the Tyler or the Michael Vaughan case than this. My childhood friends, or my childhood friends' children go to this same high school we went to. Oh, that's sad. Yeah, I don't know what we missed. I'm assuming she got agitated at us because we didn't agree with how people word things. Hello, Miss Nana. Another day. How are you? I'm feeling much better. I really am than what I've been feeling anyways. I was saying never mind to Marianne since she doesn't live in a glass house. Oh, okay. No, Marianne probably lives in a log cabin type deal. You know, them sturdy walls. And she can throw some boulders, let me tell you. Should be good. No, Marianne's a good mom. She fought for a long time for her kid. And she's an excellent mom. Well, thank you, Tiger. How have you been, hon? I've seen you on Facebook, but I've not seen you on here. You were here what, 2 lives ago, I think it was. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to get out here. I mean, I would like to dig a little more into who was the 15-year-old daughter with when she left the house that day. Exactly what time, other than around the ordering dinner time, did she leave the house? Where did they go when they left the house? Because I mean that could all play. If he accidentally slipped into that car, I mean, was there a chance that he could slip into the car? Did the person pull up in front of the house and she just run out the house and jump in the car? Did the person pull into the driveway, get out, come in the house, let her get her things together, and then they left? Did Michael have an opportunity to get into that car? I've been bouncing about learning lots of new things all the time. Thank you for asking, Miss Nana. Yeah, they have it. Okay, what it is Brandy's children from her first marriage, well, from her first partner. I don't know if she was married to or not. The daughter is 15. The son is 11. I believe he's 11. That's the one that was supposedly sitting on the couch playing the game system. And then she had two with Tyler, which was Michael and Buggy, the 2-year-old. Thank you, Dana Kay. Yes, guys, please hit the like button. So has anybody heard anything else about the 15-year-old daughter? Because the switch. I really am interested in that. I want to know who it was that she left with. And also I've heard two different stories about the grandfather too. I heard that he was actually there throughout the whole time. And then Brandy said on the first interview with Chris McDonough, I don't know if that was her first one or not, but with the interview with Chris McDonough, she says that I don't know if it's her dad or Tyler's dad. I thought it was Tyler's. But anyways, Grandpa got back right before she got there. But that he was already in the truck going back down the road to go look. So how does she know he just got there? Okay. Well, now that more of this, like I said earlier, it's not because Brandy and Tyler are not getting out here and making asses of themselves. That's not why this case is not drawing attention. The reason this case is not drawing attention is because everybody's afraid to come out and say, I do not agree with the person that is attacking this family, just full out attacking them. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I don't agree with that. You have to look at both sides. You have to look at all possibilities. And the reason this case is not getting any attention is simply because everybody is afraid to go and say anything against this family. Now, I have someone who says, and they went to school, studied for all this kind of stuff. I believe it was the birthday vigil for Monkey. They believe that Brandy, for whatever reason, they believe she was lying because they slowed the film down when she was doing the interview and she was asked if they are working with the police or she was saying they are going to bring Monkey home. They will not stop till they bring Monkey home. And the person said they slowed the film down and counted it. In a resting, an adult resting healthy position, their breaths per minute should not be more than 25. Brandy's was at 28 when she was speaking. She was also clenching her fist into her womb area when she was saying these words. And I don't know, I'm not, licensed to diagnose all this, or I've not studied it. I'm just going on what this person says. These are all indications that she was going against every word coming out of her mouth. That doesn't mean she is guilty of it. That just means she has knowledge that what was coming out of her mouth was not the truth. So either they know something already and can't say it, or they know something and know that he's not coming home. I also heard that Monkey was bugging the older boy, so older boy locked himself in his bedroom. Could he have lost his temper at Monkey? Possibly. I don't like discussing children on my bad things about children on my channel, but my whole thing about getting so agitated is because nobody is discussing the fact that the older 15-year-old sister left minutes before he got gone. If y'all catch my drift, that's really agitating me. And why the police or nobody, no, I haven't seen any YouTubers, nobody discussed the fact that this 15-year-old got into a vehicle and left moments before he turned up missing. And that would have been around 6:30. And then supposedly her mom calls her. As she's coming home, she calls her daughter and she says, "You've got to get home. I need all my kids at home. Your brother's missing," blah, 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 whatever it was she said. The daughter was gone for what, maybe 40 minutes? Oh, Dana Kay. I completely understand being upset, but it just seems so over the top and fake to me. What's over the top and fake? Me being upset? Is that what you're talking about, Nene? Exactly, Selena. Oh, Brett. Yes, thank you for saying that, Nene. I thought you were talking about me. At first, when she first came out, I thought she was sincere. But I go back and watch these press conferences and stuff, and I watch these press conferences and stuff, and I'm thinking, that seems pushed. The kind of stuff that really seems pushed. I'm not saying the woman's not hurting, but it's like a bad acting job. I'm sorry. It's a bad acting job. Either she's got the weirdest cry on earth, or the only thing I heard about the 15-year-old was that she had just left with someone, but then Brandy called her and said, "Get home." Right. Neighbor take him in? Possibly, but evidently they have went and searched every house in that neighborhood, inside and out, and they can't find anything. But then again, early on in the investigation, J.D. Huff says that all the neighbors and Brandy and Tyler say all the neighbors, everybody's cooperating. Everybody's letting everybody search wherever they want to. But now they're saying that they're not wanting to let them, that people aren't cooperating for some reason. Hang on one second, guys. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that, guys. That was my daughter. She was asking if I was live. I told her yes, and then she called. I guess that it hadn't went through yet. Since they don't seem to, or they still don't know who that boy is on the camera yet, right? And you know what? I still haven't seen the picture of him. I still have not seen the picture of that person. There was the one girl whose neighbor took her into his house. Later, he buried her in the woods behind his home. Wow. But that's what I was saying a second ago. But yeah, they've hunted, checked all the houses, and they were saying that everybody was cooperating. And now JD Huff is saying there are people who are not cooperating. And that's what the reporter asked Brandy and Tyler on this latest interview. If could they speak on who it is, do they know who it is? And Tyler starts to say something, and Brandy cuts him off. It says we're not allowed to speak on that. So I'm wondering if it is somebody they know. Because she was real quick to cut him off and not let him say what he was going to say. Shut up. Sorry, guys. Burlington, you say there's no sound? Looks like an everyday kind of guy. A lot of people have said it looks like Tyler himself. But like I said, I've not seen it, so I've not seen the picture. JLR located house in that neighborhood owned by a Roman Catholic church, same church that had accusations of SA to kids. Wow. I'd still like to also know where Grandpa was at. Was he at home? Was he gone? Where was he gone to? When did he leave? Tyler keeps saying he's not here. It sounded strange to me. Right? And he's not here. He's not anywhere here. He's got to be far, far away. Yep. Have a few good ideas, suspects, right? Nene says he looks like Tyler to me. Everybody says he looks like Tyler. And I would love to see that picture. I've got to find that picture and look at it. But like I said, I mean, I've done a few videos on this case, but I've not done a whole lot. And mainly they were just, hey, let's give prayers to Brandy and the family because, she looked distraught, which I'm sure she is. There's nobody that can lose a 5-year-old or a child, period, at any age and not have a broken heart. My heart does go out to this family. And I personally am not trying to accuse anyone of anything. But I am throwing out questions that everyday people want to know the answers to. Or at least I want to know the answers to them. Now, I know Don B says he's not going to question anything until he does a little bit more research in there. But there's just some questions you can't help but ask. I saw it again this morning. I think it was on Michelle Walks. I'll go check it out then, okay? Thank you. Hello, Miss Donna. Yes, guys, I know I smoke too much. Please don't fuss at me. I don't drink enough water either, so this sort of balances it out. I don't eat vegetables, but I don't eat bread either. So my lifestyle sort of balances everything out. Okay, so Mikey walked into the backyard that's completely fenced in. They talk about the front garage door, the big bay door, right, on the garage. They talk about the side door on the garage. Has anybody ever heard of a garage having two, single walk-through doors? Two different doors into the garage. Because I'm still trying to figure out how he got from the backyard into the garage where he goes out the side walk-through door. Now, they specifically say that he doesn't go through the bay doors. He walks out the side door of the garage. I don't recall ever seeing a garage that has two different entry doors. Hello, Miss Selena Dixon. If that was the case, could be was already looking for Monkey, but lied about it and couldn't. Men left the baby alone at home, right? You have two main doors in your garage. In the garage, that would mean that you have three entry points into your garage. You have the bay and then two main doors, two walk-through doors. Is that what I'm understanding? No, it's a door from the outside. He walks out into the backyard, guys. He goes through the double Dutch doors. This is what Brandy says. He goes through the double Dutch doors into the fenced in backyard and goes into the garage and out the side door. How did he get into that second or into the garage? Unless that garage has two doors. And I have never seen a garage that has two doors other than the walk-through door and a bay door. It could be maybe Brandy seems sus because she's trying to ignore the red flags she sees from Tyler. She didn't let Tyler speak because she knew the media would tear up his bullshit story. Right? That could be it. And that's what I was telling my friend when they were talking about her breathing and all that and her balling her fist up and stuff. I know from, just being a mother, the balling the fist up and holding it against your womb area of your stomach, that connects with your child, motherhood. There's a connection there, and you always put your hand to your stomach when you think about your kids. If you're upset, nervous, worried, whatever, you always put your hand on your abdomen. But I think that either she could be thinking, either she knows who did it when she was saying we're going to bring him home, and that's why they thought she was lying, or maybe she herself thinks she knows who did it and knows that it's not a possibility about bringing him home. And then again, the law could be telling them, hey, we think this is who it is, and you can't say anything about it or else you're going to tip them off. And maybe that's why she was lying. I'm not automatically jumping to the conclusion that Brandy is guilty, guys. Please don't think that, or that Tyler's guilty. But I'm asking questions that need to be answered. Well, that I think need to be answered. Could Brandy be afraid of Tyler? That I don't see. I have the garage door and a walk-in door into the garage from my front porch. Right. There's one walk-in door and the bay. But have you seen a garage that has two doors? My son has three big doors, then one side door. Exactly, one side door. Actually, my garage has three main doors, counting the one into the house. Garage is attached. Does it have one single door that goes out to the outside? Bye, Donna. If I didn't, you have a very blessed day too, honey. You have a real good day. Hello, Miss Corey. Our house has a kitchen back door that went to the garage and the laundry room that leads to the backyard. Right. But that's not what she says. You believe she's protecting Tyler? I don't mean to keep repeating myself, guys, but I'm serious. I listened to her just moments ago. She says there's double Dutch doors off the dining room in the house that has just a slip knob, that the kid can grab and open the door up. He walked out into the yard that is fenced in, goes back into the garage, and then out the side door of the garage. That means that garage would have to have two walk-through doors to the outside, not one to a laundry room or anything, but two outside walk-through doors. besides the bay. I would like to know if that's true or not. Because if it's not true, how did that child get back in the garage to walk out the side door? We put man door on the front one, man door on the back one, man door into house, and big bay. Okay. Well, then, right. I understand that you do. Okay. But I've never seen a garage door. Usually they have, the main door, the side door, and or the one that goes into the laundry room, the kitchen, whatever, inside the house. I've never seen one that has two doors to the outside. She seems very aggressive when Tyler's mentioned, yeah. What about the drone that was shot down? Now, I was talking to somebody last night about that, and they're like, well, yeah, I can see that. People think that they're being spied on or whatever, they're going to shoot it down. It doesn't matter if they're looking for a kid or not. They think that their privacy is being invaded. I don't agree with that. I think they probably knew what the drone was for, and they had no business shooting it, period. I'm still here, Lana. We've been listening the entire time. I'm packing my stuff up for the beach. I'll explain later. Okay, babe, you can call me after a while if you want to. Have fun at the beach, by the way, Marianne. You're welcome, Lana. Lana Westbrook. I've not seen you in my chat before. Welcome, honey. We're glad you're here. Oh, well, I hope he's doing good. He never found his ring either, huh, hon? I mean, did they ever get it back? Maybe it's a northern thing because my neighbor has two main doors into the garage. Really? I've been in the house, and it is true. I was there before the Christmas Eve vigil when I met them for the first time. You've been inside the house. Okay, Lana, please tell me the door from the yard, the fenced in part of the yard into the garage, is there a door there? I just shared your link this morning. So many people talking today, and I'm so grateful. So I'm trying to pop in and say hello to everyone. Well, hello, Lana. And honey, I don't want you to get the wrong idea. Like I've said 1,000 times already, I'm not trying to accuse anybody of anything, but I am asking some hard questions that evidently nobody has seemed to want to ask up until now. And I do not talk about children on my channel, but I would like to know about the person that the teenage girl left with. When they got there, did they park in the driveway? Was there a possibility that he could have slipped into that car before they left? That kind of thing. Yes, there is a door from the backyard into the garage. Okay. Thank you. That's what I was wondering. Yes, thank you for sharing, Lana. I appreciate it. Is there anything else that you could share with us, Lana? Actually, if you want to, you're more than welcome to pop up here on panel, hon. So we don't have to try to talk, through text. I'm still learning it too, Corey. Really, I am. Okay. The front door is heavy and awkward for a child to open, so Michael goes the long way out through the garage as the doors are easy to open. Okay. I understand that, but she was saying that he went out into the backyard and then through the garage and then out the side garage door. So that's why I was trying to find out if the garage had two doors to the outside. Seems just like the Summer Wells case, the parents seem not to want Michael found. I don't know. I don't know about that. Lana, would you like to come up on panel, sweetheart? I would love to have you. And I hope you can see by this point in time, there's no fishy stuff and nobody gonna. Sure, questions are okay. There's a lot I don't know. That's fine, honey. If you don't know something, that's fine. And like I said, nobody's gonna attack or anything like that. I promise. If you don't know something, say I don't know it. I'm dropping your link right there, hon. To me, it seems like both families want to stop people trying to find them. Yeah, the link is right there, hun. I hope you found it. There we go. Hi, sweetheart.
Good morning. Can everyone hear me?
I can hear you good. Can
Is there
everybody
echo?
hear?
Sorry, I
So
wanted
how
to.
are you doing? How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good, thank you. I'm on the West Coast, so I'm just getting up and having my coffee. And I had a lot of messages in my inbox. A lot of people sending me links to, live streams like such as yours that I had never seen before because there's so much out there. So I'm just drinking my coffee and trying to spend the morning positively spreading the word about Michael, since
Right.
today is really an anniversary none of us wanted to see happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We just went through this with little Summer Wells too. So
Right.
yeah,
Right. Yeah, they are close together. I know I don't follow Summers as much. I honestly have to say what I know about her case has just been from, through Michael's case when the two get tied together by
right.
creators or articles. And, to me, I don't see similarities other than age. They look like they could be cousins. They're both, adorable little blonde haired, blue eyed, Dennis the Menace, rambunctious, kids. Uh,
Absolutely.
and so
And the fact that they both disappeared on
yeah,
Tuesdays right about the
disappeared,
same time.
disappeared. However, what I have seen over time is like, in Michael's case, law enforcement have stated publicly that they believe this is an abduction, and every day that goes by, that, reinforces that. I haven't heard law enforcement say that in Summer's case. Again, I don't follow it strictly, so please
Right.
don't put me on anything Summer
Oh
related. But
no,
yeah,
honey.
I haven't heard them say that or that they have seen evidence of an abduction in her case. They don't know.
Right.
Uh,
Now I have someone did make the statement that they would like to understand the criteria in both cases of what they consider signs of abduction, because you have to understand the same reasoning that Ronnie Lawson, of course, ain't nobody has any faith in him, but the same reasoning behind why he says that there was no abduction in the Summer Wells case is the very thing that JD Huff says is the very thing that he thinks caused, is the abduction in Michael's case, which is there's no sign of nothing nowhere.
yeah, interesting. That's interesting to hear then. For me, what's been interesting was, Summer Wells got an Amber Alert in Tennessee. Michael did not in Idaho,
Right.
despite law enforcement requesting it twice that night, because that night, 1 year ago today, they believed Michael to be endangered and missing and requested an Amber Alert 2 times. Whereas Tennessee gave one to Summer because their criteria for that state said, okay, yes, let's give this child an Amber Alert. She's missing and endangered.
Well, actually, with Summer's case, what we're all trying to figure out is the 911 call came in at like 6:28 or something. Or not FBI, but TBI was up there within the hour, which is very odd.
Hmm.
They ruled it as a missing child to begin with. About 11 o'clock that night, they made it an endangered child alert, and literally 12 hours passed, and they turned it into an Amber Alert without all the criteria that they want to
Right.
make it an Amber Alert, and
Right.
nobody seems to understand that.
Because I've learned, I mean, I've learned a lot about the Amber Alert process through Monkey's Law, and what the community, what we did. Tennessee seems very lax in Amber Alerts. Everyone gets an Amber Alert. It seems
Right.
to, like, a child goes missing, they get an Amber Alert, and they're found 10 hours later because they were lost in the woods. um, but if a child goes missing, it seems Tennessee utilizes that system a lot more, or is one of the states that utilizes it higher than others.
Right. Well, I would prefer to have it overused as underused
True,
because
but
I mean,
overuse has the ability to cause
people,
desensitization to it, and not
right.
rally the troops, which it's supposed to, alarm us and make us go, oh my god, a child's missing, or an old man went missing down the street, like the silver alerts do, or it's supposed to make us get up and take action and look. And it has, become desensitized over time, to the point where some phones, like my phone, the iPhone, you can go into the settings and turn off
Oh, I know.
alerts and not even get them. um, so there's that fear. But I do, we've been doing a lot of work. Tyler and Brandy both are and were, committed to getting Monkey's Law, which has happened, and we're so committed to,
Now, can
take
you explain that real quick? I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you
no,
explain Monkey's Law?
Monkey's Law. So, I don't know the exact statute number. It's been, coined Monkey's Law, so anyone can look it up. It is officially on the books. I can get into more of that. But so when the community got really upset over the Amber Alert not happening for Michael, we just started an email campaign and started flooding local representatives, congressmen, senators, representatives, everyone. Senator Abby Lee of Fruitland stepped up.
Mhm.
She heard the charge. She said she got hundreds of emails. She was involved from Monkey's case from day one. She was out there on the street searching the first night when he went missing, and they had the community out there. So she was a little shocked to hear that Idaho did not have an emergency alert system. And that's what we learned through this process. So when Monkey was denied the Amber Alert, Idaho as a state did not have any kind of backup system in place to help and to get news or get information across state lines in a timely manner, which is really incredibly scary considering how close Fruitland is to the Oregon border, and how fast, people can travel when they've put a child in a car and leave an area. So information was not able to be communicated at all. So this bill got passed. It allotted, I think, $1.3 million to build the wide system that Idaho needs. I mean, as it is, like, Idaho doesn't have really a silver alert or anything like that. So right now, like, if your grandpa goes down to the river to go fishing and he disappears, there's really not a system in place to say, hey, everyone come down and help look for grandpa. So this is going to build that. July 1st was, the start of the fiscal year, because, government's weird. So they start middle of the year. So that money moved July 1st. That's why it was rushed so fast and got signed so fast by the governor, was so they could do it this fiscal year. Right now they have already, and I just spoke to the communications director at Idaho State Police to find out where they are in this process, because there had been, a mother and her daughter that went missing from Caldwell, so not too far from Fruitland recently. It was in the news, and they were found in Oregon, and it was a situation where the mom had, suicide murder.
Right.
There'd been no alert. So people are like, oh, Monkey's Law was just for political gain. There's no alerts. And I looked into it to find out what was happening, and did find out that it has started. Like I said, July 1st, the Idaho State Police guy that oversees it is Colonel Kedrick Wills. And so he has already begun, there's a panel that's being set up. So basically, like, this group of people across the state from all different areas of life, and have an interest in an alert system. They're all bringing their voices and helping to identify how the system needs to work. And then the state coordinator has already begun traveling the state of Idaho, teaching all the different agencies how to use this system. They're purchasing software, purchasing systems, because not everyone has what's needed, and making sure everyone gets what they need, knows how to use it, is trained on it, and that policy and procedure is in place to make sure that if there's ever a missing child that gets denied an Amber Alert again anywhere in the state of Idaho, Idaho has a system in place to communicate the information and help that child immediately. So it's an amazing thing. And beyond that, met Governor Little. Well, I know Governor Little. He went to high school in Emmett with my mom and my dad. But I talked to him at the bill signing, reintroduced myself because I, of course, hadn't seen him forever and didn't know if he'd remember me. And what's great is that he was so inspired by Michael in this case. He sits on what's called, I think it's called the National Association of State Governors or something like that. And he's on the board of that. And they have an annual convention where all the state's governors come together and talk about being governors and governor issues, right? And so since he's on the board of that, he kind of helps decide the agenda for the convention. And he has shared that he's putting Monkey's Law on that agenda. And so every state's governor is going to learn about how the Amber Alert was denied from Michael, how Idaho did not have an alert system in place to help Michael, and that they need to go home and check out their own alert systems because they could be the same and we just don't know until it's too late. So Monkey's Law is going national in that way. He's going to ask every governor to look at it and possibly initiate, new alert systems for their state and their people. And
that's awesome. That is awesome.
It is. It just shows, Michael's community said, this is not okay. Like, we're not okay that this kid didn't get an alert and that he hasn't been found. And we firmly believe if he'd gotten an appropriate alert and information had been shared in a faster way, that we might be having a different conversation right now.
Right. Now, Brandy and Tyler personally, correct?
I do now. I did not before.
Right. Well, that happened a lot in the Summer Wells case. There was a lot of people met them afterwards too. So, okay, in your personal opinion, and not just for the sake of whatever, your personal opinion, they seem innocent to you. They seem like they know something, anything.
It is my opinion that the people of our country are innocent until proven guilty.
Correct.
My father is a retired police officer. I was raised firmly in this, and I was also raised that you support victims and their families until you absolutely see evidence otherwise. And since I have personally met Brandy and Tyler for the first time, like I said, Christmas Eve vigil, and my personal experience has been nothing but the two of them working side by side tirelessly to keep their family together and find their son.
Right.
I have seen nothing otherwise. There's a lot of information that I don't know. There's a lot of information they don't even tell me. Really, I came into this as a community volunteer to help with media interviews and, events, that kind of thing. I only know what I need to know to be able to help them in that capacity. I'm like everyone else where, I'm watching the press conferences intently, waiting for the information to come out and know what we can do to help, you know.
Right.
I don't believe either of them did anything to harm Michael. I believe, you know, and we saw it even in the interview and the raw footage, as Tyler explained in his own words, like, you know, the story hasn't changed. Their timeline hasn't changed despite the rumors and conjecture online. And I do believe that any kind of guilt or remorse that we see from Tyler is purely because he was the parent that was at home when this happened.
Right.
And he wishes so hard that he had made Michael go down the hall with him to go wake his sister up and order pizza, you know. Yeah.
Do you know anything about the vehicle that picked the sister up? Do you know
I
if
don't
she,
know anything about that at all. I heard you
did
say
you
that.
hear my question?
Yeah, I heard your question a minute ago about the sister leaving, and I know that, and the car that came to get her, and I do know just from because Kira was on like a YouTube channel herself, and I heard her speak to, and I've met them, and so I know she left. I don't know the exact time. Was it 6:30, 6:32? Those kinds of things. I can't speak to that. I know she
Right.
came home from, you know, color guard. She has said herself that she took a nap and she woke up and her whole world changed. I think that her leaving, of course, clearly now we know this timeline has been tightened down by law enforcement and made public. So her leaving had to have been right around that time. But I don't know. That's something that honestly I would have to like go ask the parents, because I've never uh, heard that or heard of a vehicle pulling up.
Well,
And
from what
I
I
can't do
understood, you
it.
know, she left in a car with a friend. I'm just wondering, like I said before, did the car pull up in front of the house? She run out, jump in the car, and go. Did the car pull in the driveway? They get out, you know, her go get her stuff ready, and then they go. Did he have an opportunity to get in that car by chance?
And I just can't speak to that. I don't even know
No,
about
I
the car.
understand. I understand
No,
that,
I
but I
hear
was just
you. And you know, hypothetically, like in my mind, then I guess my question back to you is like, wouldn't people notice that he got in a car at some point? And Kira, you know, she's 15, almost 16. They refer to her as little mama because you know, she's so much older than Monkey. So when he was born, she just, and she even says she felt this like motherly bond with him and really loved, you know, taking care of him and feeding him and bathing him and doing all the mama things. I fully believe in my heart that if a car had pulled up to pick Kira up, and that did happen and was factual, and Michael got in the car, that Kira would be, you know, aware somehow, because it's a vehicle, so you'd have to see, I guess. But I just don't know. And I mean, I can ask and follow up with you behind the scenes and see what, you know, if you'd like
oh,
an answer.
that
Sure.
would be wonderful. Yeah. And
Today
understand.
I'm not going to be bothering them at all today. I know that they're taking time as a
Oh
family
no.
out of town, and having a special day together to try to just support each other. But I'll follow up and ask about who picked her up and that for you.
Okay, well that I mean, understand I'm not trying to attack the child. I'm really not. I don't like
Yeah, I don't
saying
think you are.
anything about teenagers or kids or
Yeah, I
nothing.
don't think you are. I don't think.
But my curiosity is I like I said, I've had 4 kids, and I know when they were that age, they were very curious. And I'm
Yes,
just saying, hypothetically,
yes,
he could have gotten in the car knowing he wasn't supposed to, hid down behind the seat,
oh sure,
they
sure,
not notice it. And then when they got out wherever they were going, he could have gotten out of the car, is all I'm saying. This is a
sure.
possibility.
Well, and as law enforcement said, there's no absolutes in this case. You know, we all heard that in the press conference. There are no absolutes right now. Um, we just need to find Michael, and then we
Right.
can ask all the questions, right?
Right.
Um,
Well, and but my point of view is if you don't throw out scenarios, because I mean, after a year, there's no answers, nowhere,
exactly,
just like
exactly.
with summer. And if you don't throw out or come up with ideas and possibilities, you might
Sure.
not touch on the one thing that could have happened. You know what I mean?
For sure. I do. I hear you. I do.
And I by no
Oh,
means.
I've thought of all kinds of things. Trust me. I'm an overthinker and overanalyzer, and before, volunteering and helping in this case, I've always been kind of a true crime junkie. I love true crime documentaries and books, and read Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys as a child, and like I said, my dad was a cop, so it's strong in my blood, and I definitely have had every kind of scenario go through my own head. um, so I hear it. I do. I've thought about these things as well, and I just, at the end of the day, have to remind myself that the best of the best is on this case, and hope that something's going to be uncovered soon.
I
And
have a question for you. If
yes,
I
ma'am.
understood JD Huff correctly, they only have 12 officers at that police department.
Fruitland is a small town, and I mean, I think I heard that too, and that would not surprise me if the department only has 12 officers. What my point is I think in why JD Huff had a representative from every agency at the press conference was to show everyone, because there has been a lot of question as to, Fruitland's relationship with the FBI. Is the FBI actually overseeing this? What agencies are actively working? There's a lot of that chatter, because the past press conferences, they've been, if you remember, the camera's been really tight. It's been, a very tight angle just on Chief Huff and Brandy. And they've kind of, and that was controlled by law enforcement. Like, we're going to stand here, you're going to stand there. They did their thing. And I think this time was because Chief Huff wanted to reassure the public, the community, that their relationships with all these agencies are strong, and these people are still working on Monkey's case every single day, especially FBI supervising agent Douglas Hart, that was relocated to Fruitland for Monkey's case. Um, they're there. They're there all the time.
Well, 3 days after he went missing, I believe it was 3 days after he went missing, and they did that first press conference, and he introduced all those people. I myself happen to think that was absolutely wonderful, because I know you said you don't follow the Summers case, but you have to know that Ronnie Lawson has no one up there except Leslie Earhart. And they don't even give out press conferences anymore. They did on her 1 year anniversary, and that was it. But Ronnie Lawson doesn't want anybody working with him.
Who is Ronnie Lawson? Is that the county sheriff or
Yes,
over there?
yes,
Okay.
that's the county sheriff.
Okay. Well, and I did hear, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I was told that at the 1 year press conference for Summer Wells, the parents were not there with law enforcement. Is that true?
The parents have not been there at any of the press conferences ever.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
See, to me, that's kind of a weird thing too. Like, why? So, whereas Fruitland, yes, small community, small resources. Chief Huff strategically, intelligently, wisely, immediately reached out to all these agencies and is maintaining strong relationships with them, right down to Idaho Search and Rescue. They had that
Right.
guy stand too, saying, hey, all of these, and then announcing new partnerships with Homeward Bound, which told me they believe Michael's alive and he's out there somewhere.
Well, that's
Why would?
great news, and it gives us all something to hope and pray for. And
Yes,
I
yeah.
so hope it's true. I mean, even like I keep saying, everybody keeps saying, and please understand that let me finish before you jump to conclusions.
Yes, ma'am.
Everybody keeps saying they hope they would rather Summer be in the arms of Jesus than the worst thing you can think of. That's not true, because if she's there, at least there's a chance for them to come home if they're still alive, and they can still become productive, happy citizens.
Yes, ma'am.
I can't ever say I hope that a child is not with us any longer. I can't.
I agree, and I've had friends, behind the scenes will say to me, gosh, I just wish hope Michael's with Jesus instead of being trafficked, and nobody would ever wish that on a child in any capacity. Like, would you ever sit there and think, oh, I hope this child is out there being trafficked? Because we want trafficking to be eliminated. Everyone does. Nobody wants that to be happening to any child. But I am like you, where my hope is that Michael comes home alive to his family. If you ask his parents, which would you prefer? Tell you what, they want him home.
Exactly.
And we've had that conversation as well recently. Brandy and I, she kind of broke down and was like, I mean, this isn't going to be the same kid when he comes home.
Right.
And they are preparing for.
They're asking. I'm sorry to interrupt. They're asking, have you heard of any RSOs living around there?
I know personally, because I myself went and looked, when I first heard about Michael going missing, before I ever joined the Facebook group or anything like that. Did a search on the national website, and like most communities, there are a lot of registered sex offenders in the area. Yes.
Okay. Let me ask one more question for you. Not just one more, but you know what I mean. Okay, the grandfather, is that Tyler's dad or Brandy's dad?
Bob is Tyler's dad.
I thought so. Okay, I thought so.
Yeah,
And that is his house they live in, correct?
I believe so. I've never asked.
I'm just not that it matters, honey. I'm just because these are
A
things
large
that
family. They're a large, loving family. And I mean, clearly between Brandy and Tyler's joint family, there's 4 children. So they, they all live there. There's a lot of space. I mean,
oh, I wouldn't say anything about it. I was
yeah,
economically in the way they are these day and times. It's better to combine households, and
I
it's
think it's been a blessing too, considering, this, because they've had, grandpa there to help with the kids and directly support daily.
right. And you can obviously tell he loves Buggy to death.
Oh my gosh, he adores all of these kids, and yes, he just chasing that baby everywhere. Just following her around with a big grin. He is so.
In your opinion, who's head of the household, Michael? I mean, Brandy or Tyler? Not that it matters, just questions.
In my opinion, they have a great partnership, and they are a really wonderful yin and yang to each other. Tyler is way more soft spoken, and just a quiet, more mellow type dude. And Brandy's definitely more headstrong. I think even in their interview, the reporter makes a comment about Bugs being strong-willed little girl, and Tyler kind of goes, haha, I don't know where she gets that from or something,
Yeah.
because that's
And
definitely
Brandy says, I don't know where she gets that from. Yeah.
jokingly.
Yeah.
They're joking, yeah, because she's like, ha ha, because it is Brandy. She's very, very strong woman, and so that's why I think they are the fire and ice, to each other, and yeah. So I mean, I'm not there behind closed doors, of course, and can only speak to what I've witnessed. But again, I see a really good partnership between the two of them, a really good friendship that I've seen. And definitely, anytime Brandy and I talk about interviews or media requests, or, the things that are coming through the group, she's always like, let me talk to Tyler. Hey, Tyler, if he's there, like, he's involved in everything.
Right. Can I ask you this? Now you can say you choose not to answer or whatever, or if you don't know, say you don't know.
Sure.
Um, at the birthday vigil, there's been several people commented that it looked like Brandy had either it was like a scar or a bruise or something on her right cheek.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you have a clue where that came from, or if was it a bruise or was it the shadow?
So, yeah, there's a lot of things that came out of the birthday party, because there was an individual who showed up to the party, um, and pretended to be a community member, loving on the family, hugged them, loved them, supported them, cried with them, posted in our Facebook community group the next day pictures and said, so wonderful to meet all of you. And then a couple days later went on another YouTube channel and called the parents guilty crackheads. and started to say all kinds of things about them. Brandy is like myself, where when she cries and gets upset, her face gets flushed, chest,
Yeah.
gets red patchy. Her cheeks will get real colored and like awkward. Sometimes you'll see weird marks. She had been up all night. She'd had no sleep. She'd been crying, barely eating. I think she ate something that day and got all bloated, and because she hadn't been eating and then did eat, so it made her bloated and not feeling well. And she was trying to pull her shit together and be there for the birthday party and celebrate Monkey.
Right.
And I was not there in person, so just looking at the pictures, I could tell that she was just like flushed in the face from crying and all of that. And to me, that's what I see. My cheeks are the same way. I don't have rosacea. But my cheeks always get super red, especially when I get upset and cry. And I always hated it as a little girl because I thought my cheeks were so, too red. And she's the same way. Her skin does that same thing. So that's what I see. The other stuff that has happened is literally coming from that individual who did that to the family.
Right. Okay. Nene said, did Tyler call in the order to order the pizza, or did he do it online? Do you know?
I do not know. I have seen that question. I know that question's out there. I do not know. I'm convinced 100% in my mind that law enforcement knows and has validated that and verified it. Tyler said in the interview with KTVV that he ordered pizza at 6:40 and he knows that timestamp is there.
Because it's on the receipt. Yeah.
Yeah. So he says that. And then I kind of think back to Chief Huff at the press conference tightening up the timeline and saying we now think it's 6:40 to 7 p.m. So I guess in my mind, I'm thinking law enforcement knows and has validated the pizza order. And for whatever reason, I don't know why they haven't told us whether it was a phone call or online or verified that, but there's got to be some reason to why they haven't, because they have to keep Michael's safe recovery at the forefront. So I imagine we'll know, but I just don't know. Yeah.
If anybody has any questions, you can put a Q in front of it and I'll ask her. I was just fixing to ask you something and it just already slipped my mind. I hate that.
It's all good. I'm just, today's going to be a long day, and I want to make sure that we're talking about Michael, and I want, there's a lot of questions about the press conference that happened, and I get that. And I have a lot of questions too about it. But I definitely just want to utilize this momentum and keep everyone talking about Monkey. Clearly there's a person that needs to come forward still and speak to law enforcement, and we need to all be putting that out there and asking this person to have the strength and courage to come forward. They're still seeking information about who was driving the Honda Pilot that day, as they've announced. So we need to keep that out there and keep talking about it. They announced that there are people being uncooperative, and that's the first time that they said that publicly.
Yeah. Do you know anything about that?
No, I don't. Even I asked Brandy, like, what's that about? And even the interview for KTVV, they're like, do you know what this is about? And they're like, how can you be uncooperative in a missing child case?
Right. They said, do you now, like I said, anything you don't know, you just say you don't know, honey. But they're saying, do you know if there were any other delivery drivers in the area during that time frame?
I don't know. I'm kind of like everyone else, where I've read the online, chatter or rumor about somebody the day before or somebody the hour before or something, but I don't personally know anything about a delivery driver or pizza or the time frame. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it was just my misunderstanding, but I had understood maybe it was because Brandy said that her daughter had left about the time the pizza was being ordered or something. But from my understanding, and I don't know where I got it, was that the daughter was going to pick the pizza up and bring it back. And like I said, maybe I'm misunderstanding there, but that was my original thought on the subject?
I I don't know. That's the first time I've honestly heard that. So
Well, like I said, I may have just misunderstood because of the way she worded it,
right,
saying
and
that
I listen to
left.
every single talk. I mean, everyone's like, "Oh, well, I'm the PR person and I know all that's going on," and that's inaccurate, and I don't. And Brandy's done a lot of talks, and I mean, I didn't even come into helping this with this until Christmas time.
Right.
That's about the time I learned about it, living an hour away.
So you are their PR person?
No, I'm not. I'm a
Oh, okay.
community volunteer and I help with marketing and getting, the word out, and I'm a moderator on the Facebook group, and I've become more involved because of certain groups targeting them, and to then targeting myself.
Oh,
I
I'm
was
so sorry.
targeted and dragged and trolled because of this, and became more involved because of that. But no, there's groups that are calling me that, calling them my clients, saying I'm a publicist. I'm not a publicist. I'm a marketing director at a digital comic book studio. You
Did
know,
you did you hear about Tim Mullen trying to get a hold of Brandy and trying to become their media manager?
I have no clue where that came from, and if Tim Mullen would have contacted Brandy, I almost think that she would have told me, unless it like escaped her mind, because she goes through so much, and sometimes it takes a lot to get the information, because she's got trauma brain. We have to remember what trauma brain is like, and this is what they're going through every day. But I don't know if he did reach out or not. I doubt. I mean, Tim Mullen is. Where do I know that name from? Is he the one involved with Summer's case?
Yeah, that's the media manager of the Summer Wells case for the Wells. Yeah, it's a joke, honey. I mean, it's not literally a joke.
Oh,
He really thinks he is, but as a media manager and taking care of the Wells media problems, he is a joke. Um,
gotcha. Oh well, and I've heard people. There's certain creators that have compared me to him, and oh da 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 and whatever, just for clicks and subs, and it's really hilarious because I don't give a shit. I have a lot of local media contacts, a ton, because of my event work, my marketing work, and I've lived in the Boise, Idaho area for a very, very long time. So when I stepped up and volunteered to help with this, my what I could bring to the table were my contacts locally. I said, I can
right,
help keep his name and face in the media on a constant basis until we find him. And I can try to help you guys get some national ones. I told them I don't have national contacts, but I can help utilize this and try to help you. And that's what I've done. And we have kept Michael's face in the news constantly, like
um,
locally. So people talking about, oh, there's no media coverage, that's bullshit, because there's not been national. Yes, that's been the difficulty, is trying to pitch his case and get national outlets to pick it up. But locally, they are all invested in Monkey, and they are constantly, running stories and doing what they can, and articles and Argus and in the news and the independent papers. Like, they're always reaching out.
right.
Um, but no, like having this official title, it's become a joke to me too. I'm like, whatever, call me whatever you want at this point, because um, I just don't care anymore. But there's
Well,
groups.
well, for you, sorry to interrupt,
Yeah,
but for you to actually carry that title, that would be one thing, honey, because you are out there. You are out there, like coming on my panel right now. You're
yeah.
out there stating,
I
is there anything I can say? Can I talk with you? Can I get his name out there?
yeah.
Tim Mullen stays hidden, refuses to talk to the public.
Oh,
He will not come out at all.
no,
Okay.
I'm constantly, yeah. I mean, I'm like most volunteers. I have my full time job in my life, but daily I am making outreach calls on behalf of Monkey. Daily, I am working to try to get other organizations. I just spoke with the Polly Kloss Foundation recently, and they sent us forms for the family to sign. So that's another organization that we're going to be joining up with. That's going to help us in the search to find Michael. I'm daily working on we're still, despite Monkey's Law being so amazing in what it's doing, we are so committed to national Amber Alert reform.
Right.
So I'm still talking to, politicians on the congressman level, the federal level,
Right.
trying to get them to look at this so that way that system can work more effectively. Um, and I'm not the only one. Like, there's so many people in the community that are doing the exact same things that I am doing um, daily. So when they say to me like, "Oh, you're the PR person," in my mind, I'm like, how can you say that when I'm doing the exact same things that so many other people in the community are doing daily? You guys just targeted me because I'm helping with like the media and I've made, connections, and I work in marketing and PR. So they made me the PR spokesperson and dug up my past and my private information and
Right.
my life that has nothing to do with Michael's case at
I've got
all.
I've got three questions for you real quick.
Yes, ma'am.
One, who was home with the kids, or should I say, well, yeah, it would be the kids. It would be the 11-year-old and the 2-year-old. Who was at home with the kids while Tyler was out driving around looking for Michael? Do you know that? Can you answer that real quick?
So when Monkey went missing, I know for a fact that Tyler, the older brother, Ben, and who's 12, and Buggy were home. Um, Again, I know Kira was home, but I don't know what minute or time she
Actually, she
left.
wasn't. She wasn't.
Because she was home from her, well, I'm saying like she was home from her camp, she took a nap, she woke up and left. I don't know, what I'm saying is I don't know matter of factly what time that was. She left right
Right.
around the same minute, but Ben was home this whole
Okay.
time.
Right. And a 12-year-old is legally by law old enough to babysit younger children. They
Well, and
can actually
also
get jobs.
I babysat at 12.
Right.
My sister wasn't as young. My sister's 4 years younger than myself, but I babysat at 12. I think I even might have babysat like another little child in the neighborhood at 12.
Right.
A little
Right.
babysitter class because in the
Okay.
hospital.
Ellie offered the Wells a media representative. They turned it down. Was Monkey's family offered that by their LE?
As far as I know, there's not a media representative, and they're usually in law enforcement. The job title is public information officer, and I don't believe there is one at Fruitland. I know there is an Idaho State Police communications director that's been quoted on the case, and there is also an FBI communications director that's been quoted on the case. I don't know if like those services were offered, so to speak. Um, I do know that the Kyron Horman Foundation was one of the first to step in and offer assistance, and they have given a lot of advice on how to speak with law enforcement, how to approach media, how to, do things
Right.
like that. So, and that's one of the services that they provide as an organization to a family, is to help you with with media ideas and social media ideas. But I don't know if Ellie like specifically offered one. I do know that Fruitland doesn't have like a person there that
That
is
fits that job title.
yeah,
Okay.
that doesn't have a job.
This is a two-part question for you. One, as in your professional opinion, and then in your personal opinion, okay? Do you believe YouTube is a benefit or a detriment to missing children's cases, and in specific, Michael and Summer's cases?
In my opinion, what I've seen of Summer's case, YouTube
Professional.
professional opinion, what I've seen,
Okay.
YouTube has kind of, in a lot of ways, a lot of creators have turned it into like a three-ring circus. In my opinion, also, what I've seen of YouTube as I've come into this more, and not just YouTube, but like Twitter, because Twitter's got a huge following for the missing. There's a lot of groups that formulate there to work on specifically missing cases. And I feel it's really kind of divided. I don't know if you want to say it's 50-50 or what the percentage is, but I have seen the worst of humanity and the best of humanity on these platforms. You know, I have seen people that I'm appalled at what they do, and I think that YouTube should be held accountable for allowing them to continue to harass and
Oh,
target, bully.
I
And
think
then
I know who you're talking about.
and then there's more than one. That's why I'm gonna speak generally and in my experience only. And then I've seen the best of humanity, because I've seen creators, small and large followings, right? People that have just a few hundred people to tens of thousands of people come out and speak to Michael and speak to, like, hey, we can't target and harass families of victims until we, have the child, and then we can ask questions. But I've seen good people really come out and just really trying to find these missing children, and so I fully believe that social media is a powerful tool. I mean, I work in marketing, so it is a major powerful tool, and it can be used for good or evil. How do you want to utilize it? So I've seen both. I've seen the worst of it and the best of it. And in my opinion, the platforms need to be held a little more accountable in their requirements and what they allow. I'm not saying censorship, because I fully believe in our right to speak our opinions, but there are people where it's crossing the line of harassment and bullying, and that should not be tolerated.
Right. And what about in Monkey's case? Do you think it has helped? Because I mean, although there has been some, like you said, some that have come out and just really bashed the family. But as far as actually getting the picture, the message, the face,
Yeah.
the story out.
I fully believe that there's a lot of people that have helped Michael's case get out on social media, and that social media has been a tool that's been for good. The difficulty is balancing it, because you do feel like I feel like I want to sometimes defend, especially if I'm being personally attacked or my life is being exposed, when it has nothing to do with this missing child, and that's only being used for entertainment purposes and clicks and subs and, ha ha ha, and look what I've got type of thing. That has nothing to do with this case. It's not going to help find Michael. It's
Right.
bullshit. And you're bullying me when you do that. You are absolutely, I'm being harassed, my private information out there, people threatening to come find me in real life and talk to me about it. What right do you have to say that or do that to me at all? What does that
Exactly.
I have nothing to do with Michael's disappearance. I wasn't there. I wasn't anywhere near it, didn't know these people. And like I said previously, I'm doing the same exact activities every single day that tons of volunteers are doing. So that's not okay. And that type of behavior does not help a missing child's case in any way, Michael or anyone. So if it's
Right.
happened on any case, Summer's case, I don't know anything about her parents, her family, other than, of course, what I've seen in the news and things. But I don't have the right to go attack them or be on social media and make videos,
Well,
distract
that would
from
that
their
would be
child.
like that would
Yeah.
be like a doctor or a family being at a playground and a child falls and gets hurt, and there's a doctor there. They come and offer their assistance, their expertise to take care of the child, and then the parent or other people around, should I say, attack them and say it was their fault. What right do you have
Yeah.
to tend to this child? Because if you haven't
Yeah,
been here.
that's a good analogy. And yeah, Summer is missing. I want Summer found. I hope that, law enforcement is able to figure out that puzzle, because she deserves that. That child deserved that. I just personally feel I don't have the right to, like, throw out judgment and harsh things about the parents and judge them and make videos and, call them all kinds of things that I've seen happen. That's just,
Sorry.
without YouTube, Gabby Petito may have never been found. Yes, yeah, that's true. Social media definitely helps in Gabby's case.
It does. There's been a lot of successful stories from YouTube as far as like the guy that's over in the UK and the dad or whoever it was stole the little girl in the United States, and he was a the guy in the UK was a gamer, and the dad watched him all the time, and they talked, they communicated. And when this happened, the guy started talking to the gamer in the UK, and the gamer said, "Oh, dude, well, here, let me order you a pizza. I understand, what you're going through. I understand, you need your little girl, blah, blah, blah." And as soon as he gave him the address to send the pizza to, the gamer called the law and reported where the little girl was at, and they actually was able to recover the little girl.
Oh, that's amazing.
So, I mean, that's one of the
Amazing.
most successful stories I've heard of YouTube.
That's definitely something that needs to be shared to provide hope for other people. That is an amazing story.
So I'm so happy that you came on here. Um, because after I do my lives, I usually retitle them because of what may have come up during the live. What title would you prefer me to put on you as to who you are to this case?
Oh, you don't even, you don't have to do that. I mean, you can. I'm not out here trying to get my name.
Well, I'm not saying you're trying to get recognition. I'm just so that people will understand what you are, why you're speaking.
I jokingly say I'm the PR spokesperson felon because that's the title I've been given on Twitter. So, ha ha ha. Let's use that one.
Okay.
But no, I don't have a title. I'm just a community volunteer. That's the thing. I consider the family friends now. I've become close to them through this. I love the children, but community volunteer, something along that line.
Community volunteer, family friend with a history of PR.
Yeah, I definitely, yes, I do work in marketing PR. I am a marketing and PR professional.
Okay.
That is what I do with my day job and what I get paid for and went to school for communications. So that is my professional background. I have no issue being called the PR representative. Really, it's just a matter of those specific groups making it such an official thing and then trying to every word I say is the family's words, and that's what I don't like about it, because that's not how it is. I have my own opinions, I have my own statements I've made. I'm not speaking for them every time I speak. I'm trying to speak for Michael, just like other volunteers. So happy.
And let's not forget there are thousands of volunteers out there trying to get the word out about all of these missing children.
There is. I've met other volunteers. I came to learn about Oakley's case in Washington, which is just neighboring Idaho, and have had some volunteers reach out to me that are actively working on her case. And, we communicate and talk about, share media contacts and, that kind of stuff. So I'm learning that there really is an entire network of amazing people out there diligently working daily to help find these kids and utilizing social media for that.
Dana Kay, I timed that lady out. I didn't like what she said. I have said repeatedly, I will have no disrespect for anyone on my panel, and especially this lady. She's definitely not saying or doing anything wrong. And on this channel, everybody has their rights to their opinions, but you're not going to attack somebody on my panel.
Well, thank you. I didn't even see that. But yeah, the attacks come a lot. It's almost become like a daily.
Yeah, it's not going to happen on my channel.
Well, I appreciate that. And that's what I'm saying is where I see the best and the worst of social media, right? Because you see people like that are saying things constantly and attacking and have horrific statements, and asking questions are okay. Having your own opinions and speculations and theories is totally okay, but utilizing that to harass another individual or attack somebody or interfere with an ongoing criminal investigation of a missing child is not okay.
Well, I'm not going to say that everything I've ever said about Dawn and Candace Wells has been of the nicest. Um, I can say that I have never publicly, I don't believe I have ever publicly came out and just totally bashed them or
Right.
anyone concerning that case. I don't believe in
Right.
doing that. I don't bash other YouTubers. And what if everybody is wrong about Dawn and Candace? I mean, there is a possibility. What if?
Right.
So, we're already, if they are innocent, we're already going to have 1,000 apologies.
Right. And
I
I would
don't
rather
want
be on the other side of it, like when it comes to that, because people have asked me that too. Like, what if at the end of the day, Tyler did do something to Michael? Like,
to.
feel that you've been, so the family. And I'm like, I'm going to feel totally wonderful about my work, honestly, and proud of my work and my support, because I would rather have it be that than what you're speaking of, and have it be like, oh, I'm, talking negatively or having opinions and out here bashing them. And then Michael's found and they're, completely innocent. I don't want to
Right.
be the one that's like, wow, I'm a really shitty person because now I have to apologize for being so judgmental on a situation that I know nothing about. Right.
Well,
Um,
you should be proud of your work no matter how it turns out, because
exactly.
you are not doing this for Tyler or Brandy.
Or
You are
no.
doing your work for Michael, the same as what I'm doing.
And for Michael in that capacity too, in my mind, I'm like, Michael deserves to come home to his family, right? He
Right.
doesn't, he doesn't want to come home to mom and dad have been torn apart, living in separate houses, or things like that that happen through these cases when children go missing, parents split up because it's so hard.
Right.
He deserves to come home to his parents, to his family unit, to his siblings, to everyone under the same roof, like when he was taken, so he can have that whole unit to surround him and love him and heal him. And attacking his family in a negative way is not supporting Michael.
Yeah. Dana Kay says, Lana, your help for Michael is very much appreciated.
Thank you, Dana Kay.
Um, Happy says, but in the Wells case, there's other crimes that were ignored, abuse, neglect, even if someone took her. Exactly. There's extenuating circumstances in the Wells case that's not there with Brandy and Tyler.
Correct. Correct. Like, I mean, I do know enough to know that, like, Dawn's been arrested, kids were taken away by the state. There was a whole past of a lot of turmoil and issues that have come to light. And again, not judging their family or their lifestyle or their neighbors. But those things aren't happening with Brandy and Tyler.
Right. And not to mention there are 5 other children in the Wells family that have already been taken, removed,
Correct.
however you want to put it. I
Correct.
mean,
Correct. And CPS, and Brandy's been asked this in interviews. CPS has never been to their home or done anything. The only CPS calls I know of are um, specific groups trying to target the family that have blasted out on social that they called CPS, and they're trying to tag Department of Health and Welfare and have them go take the kids, which is astronomical to me, because those children do not deserve to be taken away from their parents. Their
right.
parents haven't done anything to them. And to call in something like that is, it should be illegal. It should be like filing a false police report, in my opinion.
Right. I agree. I need to start writing down when I think of something, when people are talking. I need to learn to start writing it down because I've done forgot what I was going to say.
I'm the same way.
Again.
I have ADHD, so like somebody can be talking and my brain just goes squirrel, and I start thinking of all kinds of other things.
Right. Exactly. Once again, I do say thank you so much for coming up and talking with us. And
I appreciate you definitely sharing Monkey's story, and
please let Brandy and Tyler know. I know that they're not eager to jump on YouTube, and I know they probably had their fill of people asking questions, but explain to them that I'm not the kind of person that's going to start bashing them or anything. If they ever want to come on and just talk or if they have anything they want to say to the public, they
Yeah.
are more than happy to get a hold of me. They are more than happy. I won't even be on panel if they don't want me to be. They can just get up here and talk. I
No, I
mean,
let them know. I mean, I know that Brandy, she definitely, neither of them were social media people before this.
right.
Brandy utilized social media because it's what helps her to feel like she can actively do something to find her child. So she does come out and loves to get in chat and be on channels that, are about helping to find Michael, so I will definitely forward that. I do want to add though, in case you and your followers have not heard, they were interviewed by News Nation yesterday,
Mhm.
and that will air tonight, 7:30 Central Standard Time.
That's
Um,
awesome.
so that's the only national platform that has ran Monkey's case to date. They came in December, if you guys remember. Um, but this time Tyler was on as well. So that will air tonight. I want everyone to tune in, and please share it. And I definitely will share this live stream to Brandy, and we'll subscribe and follow, and definitely appreciate everyone sharing Michael's space.
Well, absolutely, 100%. And like I said, I've done other this today. I got on here and I was angry because there's so many questions that there's not any answers to. You know what I
Correct.
mean? As far
Correct.
as civilians go, not the family, but out here because we don't know the family. We don't know Brandy and Tyler and like the back door to the garage, that that kind of stuff. But my other videos that I have done for Brandy and Tyler and for Michael, should I say, have been 100% in support of them. Um, I could not imagine. I could not imagine having to wake up one day and know that my child is gone and I have no clue where he's at. I could that is the most horrific nightmare I could think of. Or my
Yeah.
grandchildren for that matter.
Yes. Or anyone you love. My boys just turned, they're 21 and 24 now, and I see stories all the time now, more so since becoming volunteering with Michael, of like, young men, their age group going missing. Um, a lot. And
Right.
that just scares me to death now too, especially like my youngest, because he kind of lives in a remote area also, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my poor babies, because they never stop being our babies.
Right. They don't. My oldest son is going on 40 this year. And there's honey, I still my kids, I talk to them at least every day, if not every other day. And they're
Yes.
all every one of them are in their 30s. And I could not imagine not speaking with my children at least every other day. Hang on, we have a question here. Good question, Rinda. Okay. Please ask what year and model of the Honda Pilot they are looking for. Um,
So I believe it was, I'd have to go pull it up, but I want to say 2016 to 2020 or 2018, somewhere in there. Um, we do have the images in our Michael Vaughan community Facebook group, because somebody made like a really nice poster that had a picture of like each year's model, because there's only slight variations between the year. Um, but I want to say that it is like 2016 to 2018. Law enforcement also has said that they are certain they know who owns the vehicle. They're just seeking more information on it, which to me, in my opinion, says they are trying to find who's driving it that night.
right.
They know who owns it, but are trying to find who's driving it. And then they tell us there's people that are being uncooperative. So my mind kind of goes, I wonder if the owner of the Honda Pilot's being uncooperative, because um, otherwise, why haven't they been able to clear that
Right.
if they know who owns it?
I agree. And see, and that's some of the questions, like I'm saying, that I've got, is okay, because during the interview, and I know you'll know what I'm talking about because obviously you were there, you watched it or something. When they asked Brandy, and understand, I'm not trying to bash them or accuse them, okay? I'm just saying these are things that people think about, and this is where all the imaginary things come from.
Yes.
But when they ask Brandy, are you and Tyler suspects, right?
Yes.
Brandy does not say, no, we've been checked out. We've passed whatever test they want to give us. We are not suspects. They do not, she does not say that. She beats all the way around the bush and then comes back to, we are working with them in every possible way we can. She does not say, no, we're not suspects. And I'm only pointing this out to you so that you can point it out to them.
Well,
That's where the ideas come from.
so two things on that I want to speak to. Two things. First, they really can't be cleared until Michael is found. Nobody can be cleared until Michael is found. Because I myself have kind of like even emailed law enforcement and been like, can you guys clear them? Because I'm so sick of all this, crap that's coming our way on social media, and that would really help. But I just know that they can't clear them. And parents have not, I've been told by other people who know more about this and are out there like you guys, parents usually haven't been cleared in missing children's cases, even when they, were found later to have been 1000% innocent. Second, I have heard Brandy speak on YouTube channels a lot about this, so it might just be that you've not heard those ones, and I might have to try to do some digging and go find them. But I have heard her speak to this and say about their family being thoroughly investigated, that all of their phones and technology, even right down to their smart TVs, were cloned, which is part of the investigation process. All of your data collected appropriately. FBI clones your technology to get that information.
Right.
So their home was thoroughly searched. I've heard her speak to that on another YouTube panel. I just don't know which ones those were.
Right. Well, I was referring to where her and Tyler were on there, and Tyler speaks the other day. That's the one I was talking about.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that's because, for one, like, that happened right after the press conference. And so they were still kind of in their emotional state, and they were trying to, there's a lot of things they can't speak to, and they're not supposed to speak to. And there's been questions I've had because I hear things like, oh, so-and-so said this on social media, and I call them, I'm like, hey, is this true? And sometimes the answer is, I can't speak to that, or I just don't know. Law enforcement hasn't told me. So yeah, there's a lot of things. I mean, when I first met her, for example, at Christmas time, there was an article that had just come out, and it stated in the article that law enforcement had done that search outside of Weezer when that piece of news came out.
Yeah.
I asked her about that before the Christmas Eve visual. I was like, hey, like, can I ask you about this? Like, what was that about, and what took them out to Weezer, and did they find anything? And she looked at me and she goes, I didn't even know about that until it was in the news also. And that's when it hit me, like, Michael's safe recovery is a higher priority than even his own parents getting a play-by-play. So there's a lot of information that they're not told, because it has to be about recovering Michael and bringing him home safely.
Right. Okay, 2 more questions. One, we heard Tyler talk about, he was saying that there had to have been some kind of a recording device in his home, or else nobody would have heard about Kara being scared by Michael, because nobody was there but him and the kids. Do you know if they ever found out if there was any kind of recording device in their house that someone else put there?
It's my understanding that this rumor of a recording device in their home has started from the former babysitter. Don't quote me on that. I mean, I just said out loud, but I think it was her that told certain groups in Twitter that there's a recording device that may have been there, or maybe.
Well, Tyler's the one that said it, because he said there was nobody but him and the kids there, and there's no way that anybody could have known about her getting scared unless there was a recording device in the
No,
house.
but I heard on Twitter Spaces myself. I heard, I want to say it was the former stepmom, the one that was coming on Twitter and like talking about stuff and talking about the kids. I heard her tell that story, or one of those women tell that story on a Twitter space, that Kira had told the stepmom when they were trying to, cause drama and whatever. So I don't know about if you heard like Tyler say it or recording him say it. I didn't hear that, but
Yeah, it was Tyler. It was
I
Tyler.
did hear on a Twitter space one of those women say that, they heard Kira, talk about being jumped out and being scared or whatever.
Okay, that explains it.
But I don't know like the origin story. I think it came from the babysitter, but I can't quite. I don't know. I don't remember
Right.
where it originated, but there were several people that were talking about it in several different places, which again kind of lends to the telephone game of how the information goes around and gets jumbled and twisted. Because like I can't even in my own mind recall where I first heard it.
Okay. Hang on one second, hon. No, Corey, the babysitter with the person with the blue hair was not the babysitter. That's Brandy's sister. She was at the first press conference. That's her sister. Your next question, Lana, if you don't mind me asking, if you know the answer to this, and this has agitated me since I heard it the first time.
Okay.
Did Brandy ever find out who was secretly recording her and releasing her phone conversations? That made me so mad that I could have choked whoever it was that was doing that to her.
Yes, we know exactly who that was. Those people made themselves 1000% clear on Twitter who they were. This was a situation, it really pisses me off too. And I am personally looking into the legalities behind it. This individual who recorded Brandy presented themselves as someone who wanted to help find Michael. They presented themselves as a PI in training who is working with groups on Twitter that are actively finding missing, and presented themselves as having experience in finding missing children, and have flat out tweeted and said that they have found missing children. Brandy trusted this person, and Brandy and Tyler were working with them, believing they were working with them, giving them information, believing that they could help find Michael.
I could not believe they're sitting there recording her private conversations and then released it like that. Oh, Lord.
And then if you actually go back and listen, you can hear a lot of baiting questions. You can hear a lot of leading questions. You can hear a lot of, all of that. And this person who, they want to, these people, these are the ones who pulled me into all the drama and dragged my private information online, because they're the ones that went and looked in my background. So I went and looked at their background. And the person who recorded Brandy has several major felonies of theft, has an obstruction charge that carried a $50,000 fine, has all kinds of things that would never allow this person to be a private investigator in the state where they reside. And yet they were presenting themselves as a PI in training. So where you get your information and your sources matter. I learned that in junior high when I was learning how to write essays. You have to find valid sources for your information. And that's where they were getting their information from. And so that was the start of this. That's what pulled and started all of this drama. And it was literally the worst betrayal. And then they take it a step further and they send somebody into the family's birthday party to come love on them and befriend them and show support, and then go on YouTube and call them guilty crackheads.
Right.
So this is what they're talking about when law enforcement says online.
I don't have Twitter. I don't have Twitter, so I don't follow Twitter.
I closed mine down. I wasn't on Twitter before. I mean, I was, but I hadn't tweeted since 2018 until these groups started talking about me, and I'm being sent Twitter spaces and links and people saying, hey, did you know that Brandy's talking to these people? And I'm like, no, I didn't, because I'm not her PR representative, so I didn't know everything the family was doing and who all they were working with. And that's what this was. It was them trusting people to help them find their child, and they were completely taken advantage of. And bullied.
Okay. Lana, I greatly appreciate you coming on, hon. And I hate to put a close to this, but I've got things I've got to get done today.
No, me too. You just keep asking
Um,
questions. So if there's any more, I definitely will answer, but I've got to get my day going too. So
Please give Brandy my condolences for all the horrible things that are being said to her or about her or Tyler for that matter. I
right.
pray every night for these missing children. I really do, honey. And if
Yes.
there is absolutely anything I can do, I will do it to help. Make sure she understands that if she talks to me, I'm a straightforward person. I'm never going to bash her, but if I have a question, I'm not going to be ruthless or rude or anything like that. But I'll be straightforward and I'll just come out and ask her just like I did you today.
Correct.
I mean, I don't think I ask any bad questions.
No.
Okay, so
No.
but let her know that
No,
her
your
and
questions
Tyler,
are all questions I've been asked before. This is nothing new to me either, but I do appreciate it. We appreciate it. You've got a following, you've got people clearly actively interested in the cases you're covering. And so I absolutely 1000% am appreciative of all the support. And I just want to end with, we do have a website, findmichaelvaughan.com, which has a lot of information on there. It has links directly to law enforcement to submit tip, doesn't even come through us, goes right to law enforcement. Also, there's a form on there if anyone would like to receive monkey mail, which is awareness materials that we send out that are provided to us by the Kyron Horman Foundation. There's a form on there and you can put your name and address in there and we'll send you a monkey mail packet. And then, there's also posters and anything else on there that you might want to download and distribute on findmichaelvaughan.com.
I do have one more question before we get off here, okay? And it's only because I am really curious to know. Okay, it was said that there was a person who offered to hire a PI to investigate. It was also said that Brandy said that's fine, but that person, that PI, will have to report to law enforcement and law enforcement only.
No.
And that,
Yeah.
well, I mean, I wouldn't blame her if she did. I wouldn't want, a PI going to somebody else just because they paid for them. I don't care. It's my son. I wouldn't want somebody reporting to somebody else.
Yeah.
If they're going to report, they're going to report to law enforcement. But because she said if they don't report to law enforcement, then don't worry about hiring them. I don't think that's a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that's bad at all. But I'm just wanting to clear up. Is that true?
Correct. Couple of things. So first of all, the family absolutely has the right to set boundaries and ask for those boundaries to be respected through this. And Brandy has always said, and Tyler, that anyone who wants to help, volunteer PIs, professionally licensed people who actually are real investigators, to please contact Fruitland, and absolutely they would accept any help and work with anyone. I have even said that in the comments under this individual who made this offer, shouted out my name in a video, and I went and commented and was like, and I said, I believe the words I used were they need to contact Fruitland. But when I say contact Fruitland, in my mind, you're getting the FBI, ISP, you're getting all those people that are there, right? Because the supervising agent from the FBI is there in Fruitland. So that's what I meant. I just didn't clarify it to that extent. And I said, they're not declining this offer. And that creator's first response was to further harass me and said, what happened to the Boise Film Festival money, Lana? And I went back and was like, hey, told them the exact truth of where that lie came from, that it was a website put up by a man who's been stalking and harassing me for 10 years. And I have PTSD and trauma over this person. And that creator responded and said, we don't need your life story, Lana. And then I went back again and was like, hey, we're not declining your help. You're just here making videos for clicks and subs and money and attention, because to this date, I don't know. There's no PI that I know of that they have hired or brought to the table. It has just been talk.
In either case, that was also supposed to have been brought into the Summer Wells case, and I've never heard of one for that case either.
So so that was not declined. That is absolutely false. Brandy and Tyler have said any PI, if there's anyone out there, I mean, now I'm even saying it now, if there's a PI out there that's like, hey, I want to volunteer and I'm going to come work, then God willing, contact law enforcement. Go call them. Hey, I'm a PI. I have experience in missing children. And I want to help find Michael. Because guess what? That's where they're going to get all their factual information is the FBI and law enforcement.
But they also need to turn the results that they find into law enforcement and not to someone else.
Because you cannot, any professional private investigator is going to turn what they find directly to law enforcement because a PI cannot make an arrest. So they have to give that information to law enforcement regardless, whether they want to give it to Chief Huff or to the FBI. You know, it's going to go to the same place. You know, they have to turn it over. That's why you do not make recordings and put them on social media. If you feel you have recordings that are evidence, they should go to law enforcement. And law enforcement should determine if that is evidence and has merit in the case, not social media.
Right, exactly. Well, I appreciate it again, Lana, for you coming up. Like I said, tell Brandy and Tyler my heart breaks for them and that we do think about them and pray for Michael every day. And if there's anything at all that Nana's Angels, the channel, can do, we are here anytime. And trust me, all they have to do is contact me when, you know, if they want to come up, they contact me and tell me what time is good for them. It doesn't, you know, it's at their convenience.
Sure. Yeah, no, I will share this. Yeah, today's going to be a rough one. Like I said, they're taking time out in nature with family today. But I will definitely share that. And somebody asked about positive stories about Michael and his family. We have a lot of those up on the website, findmichaelvaughan.com. There's a page about Monkey that talks about all the things that he likes, all the things he likes to do with his family. And there's also lots of pictures and that kind of stuff too. So
right. My email address, Lana, is in my about section.
Perfect.
But if you need me to put it in chat, I can. But otherwise it'll also be below. It's below all of my videos, my live streams, everything.
All my contact. I totally appreciate you. Thank you so much for the time today.
You're welcome, hon. Thank you. You have a great day, sweetheart.
You guys too. Have a great day.
Well, guys, that was unexpected. Welcomed, but unexpected. As I said, though, I hate to cut it short, although 2.5 hours isn't too short. I do need to get off here. I've got laundry to do, and I have to go pay some bills and do all that good stuff. So I greatly thank you all for coming in and listening to me go off. And I greatly thank Lana for coming up and giving us the information that she gave us. And I will see you guys. Don't forget, tomorrow at 6 o'clock, tomorrow evening, I'm going live again, okay? As always on Thursdays. And I'll see you all later. Bye, guys. Don't forget to pray for the children.